Whoop. Yeah. Trusty Ape going live, doing a shorty. Probably, I don't know. Yeah, most likely. Started late. I got distracted by, well, yeah. So it's been one of those days. Lots of distraction, lots of angst, lots of dropping my phone. Actually, that's only the second time today. So. Existential dread. What is it? Where does it come from? Why do I feel it all the time? It's because you have a problem. Oh, let me tell you about my problems. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Am I allowed to say that? So I find myself in a very strange place, time in my life. And just going to have to see where it goes. As it stands, I am, I'm going to be severely cut on hours unless they find something to occupy me next week. So, and since it's all up in the air and up in limbo, if they, I don't know. We're going to see what goes on with this because I'm basically in a position now, right? I can't turn back. I can't change my mind. I mean, I guess I might be able to, but that would be wishy-washy. That would be indecisive, right? You don't want to be indecisive. Indecision looks weak. I don't want to look weak. No. I can't have that. No, I don't really care about looking weak or the aesthetics of it. But I don't want to be weak. I want to be firm and go with. No, I've got to stand fast here. I think I had a very particular set of objectives when I began here, and I think I've reached those objectives. And the message I keep getting is it's time to move forward. It's time to move forward. The problem is that I have maybe too many options in front of me. I'm having trouble making that decision of how I move forward. And nobody's going to hand it to me. I have to push for it, which I've already begun doing. And I told them straight up, I want to make progress in this career. I want to, I've been doing these sites all over California for as long as I've been in this profession, same shit day in and day out. It doesn't matter where you go. I mean, yeah, you meet a lot of cool people, you get to help people out, and that's all fine and good, but there's no room for advancement. Nothing about your job description is ever going to change. You're not going to acquire new skills. You're not going to get more money. That's for damn sure, right? You're on the bottom of the totem. And every time you start with a new company, in my case, that's where you start. Unless, of course, you don't. What does that mean for me? Well, I can outright ask to be put in a position of leadership where I'm at, or I can go apply elsewhere to start out in a position of leadership based on my experience, so that I'm not starting out at the bottom of the totem like I have in every company that I've rolled into. Because with the level of experience and training that I do have, well overqualified, right? But look, what they've got now, they've got a bunch of young kids, they got a bunch of fresh blood, and these kids are peppy, and they're clean, and they're pretty, and they're they don't come with all the baggage of this aging man. So a lot easier to manage, a lot easier to maintain. Somebody like me goes AWOL on you, and you have a fucking problem on your hands, right? The kids, you just rein them in. They'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine, right? Plus, you can roll them in and out like it ain't nothing. Right? So it's been suggested to me that I probably fairly easily, with a proper diagnosis as an adult, be able to go back in and get on Social Security and work part-time, potentially making more money than I do now, working more than full-time, potentially. Of course, there are some things involved with that, being on the dole. But I was legally disabled as a youth until I turned 18, and I went in there and basically told them I didn't want it anymore. So I guess it's just as simple as saying, "Hey, I was wrong." But then they're gonna go, "Well, you've been working for..." Well, yeah, but there's pretty big gaps in my employment history throughout that time, and I could blame that on my disorder, whatever that is, my chaos, my personal chaos. Yeah, I could do that. I don't know. It almost begins to sound lucrative, but then you got that other problem that comes being in that situation, right? And I have plenty of money and too much free time on my hands. Well, what do I want to do? Of course, I want to go back to being creative and gigging out and being able to fucking play with multiple bands again. That's where I came from, right? I'm this fucking unreasonable dude. And I talked about it on here before. In my previous employment, before I started this profession, my job was never a priority. There were always, at least a half dozen things that came before my job, namely band practice. We need rehearsals, we need gigs. So those are going to come first, rehearsals and gigs. The band comes first, of course, and then I've got the girlfriend, the kids, that came along. So then, okay, now I kind of have to prioritize my kids, but, I'm still going to make sure that I get these rehearsals in, even if it means, whatever I got to do. Right. So my kids have been out to my shows. My kids have, they've been in my rehearsal spaces. They've been running around while I'm in recording sessions. And there's shit on YouTube and elsewhere where you can hear my kids playing in the background while I'm recording tunes. Like, that was my life, right? I don't want that life back. And I can't go back in time. But I also can't leave it behind in good conscience. I can't sit here and pretend, hey, yeah, I can work full time till the fucking day I drop dead, or maybe I'll be able to retire if I get a better job. But at the end of the day, a job doesn't make you happy. A job doesn't keep you sober, and having a job doesn't necessarily make you productive. It just means you get to continue to keep living and consuming, which you're going to do anyway, right? Regardless. You have, so it's like all these expectations I'm having from this profession, right? Which some of them are coming true. Like, I make actual human connections out there. I meet people I really enjoy talking to and hanging out with, and they're sincerely interested in me and, who I am, what I'm about, and what I'm going to be doing, my well-being, and that's awesome. Everybody else seems to see what I'm doing as a dead-end job. Of course, except my employers, right? Because they need me. I've seen it, as a means to an end. This is something I could do easily. I can multitask. Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's still the case. But again, there's no point where I'm going to actually progress in my career where I'm at. So I have to make some kind of steps, right? And some of those steps involve me, doing better for myself and not responding to situations the way I do. It's like I had this situation earlier. I got into it with the parental figure. I walked out the door angry, and my parental figure has a particular power over me where I can't let that shit go. I cannot let that shit go. So I went all the way from the front door to the bus stop, onto the bus, fucking fuming, and then I sat there coming down off of the, whatever adrenaline rush or whatever it was, anger rush. And then, I go into work and I'm freaking lethargic, essentially, because I'm fucking emotionally drained from that one encounter, right? And I don't know how I could do it differently. Well, I know there's some things I could definitely do differently in my response, but it's difficult in that situation, especially if it's a close family member and you don't want to. Yes, but we've spoken on that a bit here. So just a big barrel of angst. I watched a Institute of Human Anatomy video. It's a little older, but it was on heart attacks, and I started wondering if I was having one. I was like, "Fuck, it's not supposed to feel like this." I saw that Mexican guy I was talking about last night, the one that I went a little too hard on, and I went up and I apologized to him today. He understood, and he accepted my apology. We shook hands, so that was good. I don't have to hold on to that one anymore. I thought I had seen him around a couple times too. I'm like, is that the same guy? Is that the same guy? And then today I just approached him. You're the dude I saw, right? And so he was like, "It's cool, we're cool." So that's good. That's good for me. I like being able to make amends. When I've been an asshole, for the most part, which is not something you really want to do on the job because, again, in my line of work, it's going to tend to make you look like you're a waffly guy, and you're. But in this situation, it was the right thing to do, and you should always do the right thing, even if it's not going to, be the most aesthetically pleasing, right? Fuck aesthetics. At the end of the day, they don't matter that much. Well, I'm not going to find that. It's down there in the corner. So, okay, there's that. Minor accomplishments today. I talked to my HR team, and I got my car washed, but didn't really get anything productive done other than that. If that's the best you could do, then all right. Couple of things. But then this whole freaking wrench gets thrown into my morning. And yeah, it's just a really fucking weird day. And I sit there and I think about it, everything that's leading up to this. And I think, nope, this is not okay. I've met these objectives, right? I have a place, I'm stabilized for the most part. I need to get my fucking car fixed, right? But there is no reason that I have to stay on this path. In fact, I've now created a situation in which I must choose another path. I must find another way. There's no other way around it, right? Like I said, to do so would be indecisive and remain stagnant. It's like, now is the time. If I don't do it now, it's probably not going to happen. And it's probably not going to go well for me, right? Because I'm going to continue doing the same cycle that I've been doing, and that's going to end up a bad road for me, right? I'm making positive steps now, but I have to continue to make more positive steps so that I don't fall back. And it's just a fine line there between where I am and where I came from. But I know what I want to hold on to, right? I want to hold on to the place I'm at. I want to try to branch out from there. I just renewed my license, so as far as that goes, it's like another two years or something like that I have to worry about that. So I could, I could take that and apply it anywhere. Right? But again, I can't be starting at the bottom of the totem, not at my level, not at my age, not with my experience. That's just not going to be an option for me, especially living where I'm living. Continue living down here. Hey, it's an expensive place to fucking be, and it's very competitive as far as the job market goes. There's no reason that I shouldn't be out there asking for more. Right? I've just kind of settled with any entry level position, that kind of looks good at the time, and that's how I end up in all these spots. And it's worked out for a while, but just kind of rolling around. Like, what am I doing here? I'm not getting what I want out of life, right? And then that's what I was just telling the parental unit. The objective for me is not to just be working, right? Because work's not going to make me happy. It's not going to be fulfilling in that way. Like, I'm here to earn a paycheck. Yeah, I want to have a job that's not crap, right? But more importantly, it's about having the paycheck and having the free time to enjoy the paycheck and go do what I like to do, right? And the position I'm in can't do that. No, I can do a little bit of it, but not nearly as much as I'd like. And so that part of it doesn't make sense. So I'm not accomplishing my other goals, right? And I have all this other stuff I need to do now. So, and on, to top that off, I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to just meet basic necessities and obligations and be like, okay, that's all. No, I actually wanted to get something out of this deal, for me. I don't think that's too much to ask, something other than, a little smoke and a little drink, because I have other hobbies. And of course YouTube, but YouTube's, it's awesome. You can do it anywhere. You can do it anywhere, except of course on the bus, because as we've shown time and time again, the riding the bus and streaming from mobile, it's a shitty thing. It'll fuck you all up. It works for a little bit, but only until it doesn't anymore. You go through a dead zone or something, like a Stephen King novel. So yeah, today I have to be unreasonable. I have to start making demands, not only on myself, but on society, on those around me. I have to actually voice, this is what I want, and this is how I'm going to get it. But in order to do that, I'd have to be able to accurately articulate what I want. Well, I think I just did that, right? I think I just did that. I can do what I'm doing at a higher level, make more money, and work less hours. Maybe. I could go to just doing what I'm doing part-time. Go on the dole, get my social security check, go see the doctor, let him diagnose me, which I've been trying to get a fucking diagnosis out of my therapist for months now, and he's very hesitant to actually give me a diagnosis. He's kind of accepted my self-diagnosis being on the spectrum, but he hasn't really given me a whole lot of solid feedback on that. So maybe that's something I should ask him about when I talk to him Monday. I think it is Monday. No, is it next? Might be the following Monday. Either way. So maybe I should write that down. Notepads. No, I don't. Not here. Not now. Let me just write it on this thing. No, I'll forget it if I do that. Okay. So this is the part where say, hey, it's going to be difficult, right? And it was difficult for me today. Looking around, I see the stability. I see all these people who are wonderful. I have pretty great relationships with most of my coworkers now. It's, and I would feel bad to leave them behind. But at the end of the day, that's not what I should be prioritizing. That's not something I can prioritize. And I could probably still maintain some friendly relationships with those people. I'm sure I'll probably end up riding the bus down there again. It's right between here and there. It's always going to be the waypoint. But that's not where my future is, right? Like, people keep telling me, well, there's a lot of opportunity out here, and that's true. But I don't know if it's my opportunity. Maybe not right now. Maybe in the future. But right now, I have to focus on putting back together what I lost. You know, it's not like starting from scratch in the same sense that I had to start from scratch when I came down here. Um, I keep saying last year. In reality, it's been like 2 years because I went back for a very short period of time. But now that I'm established, right? Like I actually have a place, and it's working out, and all I have to do is take that next step to be more solidified in my position here. And I think I am in the perfect location for me, and there's a whole lot of opportunity to do the things that I want to do again, not the things that I have to do, not the things that I need to do, the things that I want to do, the things that I set out to do as a young man, as a very young man. Um, you got to hold on to some kind of dream, whatever that is. And for me, I think I lost the essence of myself when I started thinking of myself as a failed musician, a former musician, some guy who used to play a bunch of gigs in all these bands. And I've done shit a lot of musicians would be envious of the things I have done. I've dozens of gigs with all kinds of groups. I've fucking taken my pants off and liberated myself on stage. I've fucking played in squat houses and house parties, bars, and larger venues. I played a song called "Jesus Ain't Coming Back" at a freaking church venue called what was it called? House of Bread. I think that's what it was called, but I could be wrong about that one. That was so long ago. Um, and it's like, when I'm a rock star, I'm me. It doesn't matter if I'm an actual rock star. I could just be a legend in my own mind, but that's me, right? This guy over here is some dude on a fucking leash. He's some guy who's not truly expressing himself most of the time. And maybe that's why I have to come on here and vent, because I don't get to go screaming in my fucking microphone anymore. I'm not writing any wicked new licks. I sit here with this acoustic guitar, which is great. It sounds great. It's fun. I still need to work on that E string, but like for $20, dude, that's a kick-ass guitar. I'm not going to complain about it, but it's not fulfilling me the way that it used to. And I think part of that is my station. I've accepted this adulthood that doesn't suit me. When I first started doing this, at least I was still going to band practice a couple times a week and stuff. It's like now I'm not doing those things. And there's a problem with that. It is draining, it is soul sucking. And to have other musicians coming to me week after week, are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? And they just say, can't do it this week. Nope, can't do it again. Can't. And then month after month. And then before you know it, it's been, a half a year since you've played with your band. It's been 2 years since we played a gig, never mind, like we've had songs for fucking 8 or 10 months that we've been talking about recording, but we don't get together enough to actually get them solid enough to do the fucking recordings. And it's all right there. Everything's set up and ready to go. I'm the only one who doesn't have time anymore. All the money in the world won't buy me more time. So today, I have to be the unreasonable man who makes demands. My time is worth more. And I have to figure out how to make the best of it. And I can't ask anybody to do that for me. I have to plot and plan it and demand that the world meets me on my level. Otherwise, The world will continue sucking and sucking and sucking like a vacuum till there's no me left. And that doesn't sound like a very reasonable proposition to me. Yeah, I love that George Bernard Shaw quote. If you didn't see it in the thumbnail, he says, I'm going to probably butcher it, but I was just reading it. He says, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world, while the unreasonable man persists to adapt the world to himself. And therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. I think that's something very important for us to remember in life. Innovation, invention, these come from the minds of people who are often considered eccentric, crazy, and unemployable. I don't know. Somehow, you've got this, brilliant madness inside of you. And if you can harness it, you can do something great. At least something better than mediocre. So be the unreasonable man. Today and every day. All right. That's what I got to say. Went on a little bit longer than I planned, but it's completely unscripted. I've just been fucking ranting at you this whole time. I'm going to do. I got to do. Okay. What do we have coming up? I don't actually have a schedule, but I know I still need a schedule with Gorilla's Random Thoughts. And I have a screenshot of his. Yeah, he sent me contact information and days that work for him, I think. So yeah, I got to go look for that information, or maybe I'll just ask again or something, or maybe I'll ask Mikey. But either way, we'll reach out and we'll put that together. But the other thing I want to do very soon, because we haven't done one in a while, is a forum on religion. We've kind of touched on it briefly recently with Tog here and Mikey and stuff like that, and I haven't really come out too hard. I'm just like trying to get to know people, but I'm going to get back to that part where I'm going to start to push back a little bit, and maybe some other people are going to want to come in and do the same. I don't know, somebody like William Freeman, or one of those guys. I don't know, Sammy, Hillary's emails. Of course, everybody's welcome. It'll be an open panel, but it is going to be religious and irreligious discussions on religion and why some of us lack them. So that's probably going to be the next big one. Maybe a Monday. No promises, but that's my plan. Have a great night or morning, whatever time it is where you are. Middle of the day if you're in England or something, I suppose. There's that China. Shit, I always get those confused. Anyway, I'm gonna fucking wrap up. I'm gonna fucking wrap it up, man. I swear to God. Don't play with it. My friend keeps telling me, stop playing with it. And I know what he's saying. We say it like that, you think something different, but you get it. You get it. Just be the unreasonable man. Be well. Be kind. Or woman. You can be an unreasonable woman too. Be well. Be kind. Stay trusty. And don't play with it. See you later.